The next problem came when the starter, Bump Gilliam, who was also Mars Bar's best pal, called, "Get ready!" And someone in the crowd yelled, "That ain't what you say. You say, take your mark." Well, everybody jumped into it then. There was shoving and jawing and almost a fist fight over the proper way to start a race. Finally, there was a compromise, and Bump called, "Get ready on your mark!" At which point someone else called, "Go Mars!" And Bump turned and snarled, "Shut up! When the starter starts, there's no noise." So naturally, someone else called, "Smoke it, Mars!" And then came, "Waste him, Mars!" And "Do the honk, barman!" And they might still be calling to this day had not a single voice separated itself from the others. "Burn him, Magee!" It was hands down, laughing and pointing from his porch on the roof of a cart. Bump jumped into the let-up, get set, go, and at long last, messy from their weight at the start line, they went. Even as the race began, even after it began, Maniac wasn't sure how to run it. Naturally, he wanted to win, or at least do his best. All his instincts told him that. But there were other considerations: whom he was racing, and where and what the consequence might be if he won. There were heavy considerations, heavy enough to slow him down, until the hysterical crowd and the sight of Mars Bar's sneaker bottoms and the boiling of his own blood ignited his afterburners, and before you could say "Burn Magee," he was ahead, the pink thread bobbing in his sights. But he never saw his body break the thread. He was only the face of Mars Bar, straining, gasping, unbelieving, loosing. They went crazy. They went wild. They went totally bananas. You see him? He turned around. He ran backwards. He did it backwards. He beat him going backwards. Mars Bar tried. He shoved Bump. "You started too fast. Why wasn't ready?" He shoved thread holders. "You moved it up so he could win. I was gaining on him." He shoved Maniac. "You bumped me. You got a false start. You cheated." But his protest drowned in the pandemonium. "Why did I do it?" was all Maniac could think. He hadn't even realized it till he crossed the line, and he regretted it instantly. Wasn't it enough just to win? Did he have to disgrace his opponent as well? Had he done it deliberately to pay back Mars Bar for all his nastiness? To show him up and shut him up once and for all? His only recollection was a feeling of sheer, joyful exuberance, himself in celebration, shouting "Amen" in the Bethany church, bashing John McNabb's fastballs out of sight, dancing the polka with Grayson. Maybe it was that simple. After all, who asked why other otters toboggan down mudbanks? But that didn't make it any less stupid or rotten a thing to do. The hatred in Mars Bar's eyes was no longer for a white kid in the East End. It was for Jeffrey Magee, period. The crowd with search with him as he made his way westward. It wasn't clear whether they were glad or not that he had won, only that they had seen something to set them off. They jostled and jammed and high-fived and lived. For everyone who called him White Lightning, two more challenged him to race. "Right here, baby, you and me. See who's gonna turn his back on who." Mania kept moving, embarrassed, wishing he could just break out and sprint for the West End, wishing he could duck into the Beals' house and be sanctuaried there, and not fear reprisals on them. And just about then, miraculously, two little hands were warming into his, two familiar voices squealing, "Maniac! Maniac!" Hester and Lester. He snatched them up, one in each arm. He was on Sycamore Street. There was the house, the door opening. Amanda, Mrs. Beale, smiling to beat the band.